You are probably trying to ascertain whether it's cheaper to buy a home or rent a house. Well, when most of us consider renting versus buying a home, we think to ourselves that we might as well use the money that we pay for rent to pay for our mortgage. And this isn't really a fair comparison, as it leaves out a lot of other costs involved in buying a house. Before buying a house, you need to consider the following costs: the property taxes, insurance, rates, maintenance costs, and cost of capital. So with property taxes, these are taxes that you buy on a property, because when you purchase anything, it comes with a tax payment. And insurance is monthly payment for insuring the assets that you have bought. It might be assets contained in the house or the property itself. And rates are when you have to pay financial liability for occupants for a certain service that are compulsory in each residence. For example, if you have a swimming pool that belongs to everyone where you stay, which is a communal swimming pool, then you have to pay for rates for it to get cleaned every month. If you guys have a communal garden, then this also needs to be paid to the property management to make sure that everything is kept in order in the place where your house is. Maintenance cost is cost associated with keeping the property in good condition. It might be replacing a kitchen cabinet, it might be painting the walls, it might be fixing the roof and stuff like that. So cost of capital is that if you're getting financing from the different banks that you would apply with a loan for, and they would charge you an extra amount. This is called interest, and it's the cost of capital. When buying property, some banks, for now, let us get into the cracks of the matter. Is it better to rent or better to buy a home? Firstly, the comparison of the two will be done on the basis of the financial goals. This will help lead to the decision of whether to buy or rent. Secondly, we will look at the comparison of the two on the next slide. Person A, which is buying, has multiple reoccurring payments to make and has insurance payments to make on a monthly basis, rents, rates or levies, and maintenance cost. And the growth rate, as we said, is assumed to be 3.4% per annum in the property industry. So the price of the property increases by 3.4% per year. Let's calculate the growth for 20 years period and see how much the property will be worth in 20 years time. The value of the property increases by 34,000 per year. This is compounded yearly until year 20. The value of the property will be 1,951,689 rands in year 20. The profit made from the investment is considered to be 1,951,689, as they will also be having the property to their name in 20 years time. As compared to person B has to only pay a once-off deposit, which is invested in an interest-bearing account. Person B also pays monthly rent. Rent is increased by 5% annually, and he uses the amount that he could have used as a down payment on the house to invest in a fixed savings account. That account has an interest rate at 7% annually for every 5 years. Let us assume that this amount to be 250,000 rands, which is the same as the amount that has been paid by person B as a down payment or a deposit. The interest-bearing account will be at a total of 967,421 rands in 20 years time. And person A actually has a lot of monthly payments to make that are accumulating over the 20-year period. So person A has made total, so we have to calculate the total costs estimates over the period of 20 years for person A, which is buying. Person A has insurance, which is 300 rands per month, and it equates to 72,000 rands in 20 years. And maintenance costs, which is 200,000 in 20 years time. Rates and levies, which is 168,000 rands in 20 years. Cost of capital, that total cost rounds up to monthly payments to make that are accumulating over the 20-year period. So person A has made total, so we have to calculate the total costs estimates over the period of 20 years for person A, which is buying. Person A has insurance, which is 300 rands per month, and it equates to 72,000 rands in 20 years. And maintenance costs, which is 200,000 in 20 years time. Rates and levies, which is 168,000 rands in 20 years. Cost of capital, that total cost rounds up to 512,000 5,000 rand. The total profit after deducting cost is 1.4 million if property is sold by the end of 20 years. Now, person B has just made monthly rent payment, a once-off deposit, and rent is also considered to be a cost as this amount is never going to be recouped. Rent paid over 20 years is assumed to be around 5,000 and increases by 5% annually. The total cost due to rent is 1.2 million, but this amount cannot be recouped again. The amount that they have made so far from their investment is 961,421 by renting and using the 250,000 rand that they would have used in down payment to invest in a portfolio. The net worth of person B renting and using the 250,000 rand that they would have used in down payment to invest in a portfolio. The net worth of person B who opted for renting is 961, while the net worth of person who decided to buy is 1.4 million. As you guys can see, the person with the decision who went with the decision buying has a net worth that's higher than the person who decided to go rent. Please also note that this is a decision that's going to be based on personal preference, and we should also note that people can make their decisions based on what they prefer, and depending on the person, then person B might actually yield a higher net worth at the end of 20 years as compared to person A, depending on your portfolio. For example, as a person, if you know that you are very mobile throughout the years, in 20 years time you are gonna move around a lot, then it's much better to go for renting as compared to person B, person A, who's gonna buy a house and never gonna stay in it. And it also depends on the location, as we said. Location. If somebody like person A buys a property in a place that does not have tenants and they cannot stay in that house, then, well, guess what? They will be paying for a house that they have to pay for, and they will be paying double rent essentially. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and going through this analysis with me. Take your decision and be content with it. See you next time.